The story of the three thieves and the clever merchant. Once upon a time, in a busy and beautiful city, there lived a smart and clever merchant named Khalid. Everyone knew him for his sharp mind and the way he dealt kindly and wisely with people. He owned a large store filled with precious goods. One day, three well-known thieves, each famous for being tricky and sly, made a plan to steal from merchant Khalid. Each one of them came up with a clever idea, hoping that at least one of their tricks would work. The first thief decided to disguise himself as a rich man looking to make a big deal. He walked into Khalid's shop confidently, wearing fancy clothes and holding a bag full of fake money. He went up to Khalid and said, "Mr. Khalid, I've heard that you're the best merchant in the city. I want to buy a large quantity of your goods, but I have one condition. I want to see the goods in your warehouse myself." Khalid smiled and said kindly, "Of course, sir. Let me send one of my workers with you." But the man replied, "No, I'd feel much safer if you came with me personally." Khalid felt something strange. There was something suspicious about this man's behavior, so he decided to keep a close eye on him. While Khalid was dealing with the first thief, the second thief entered the shop dressed as a poor man. He looked tired and sad. In a begging voice, he said, "Please, Mr. Khalid, help me. I'm a poor man, and my family is hungry. I have this old golden coin. Maybe it's valuable. Could you buy it from me?" Khalid took the coin and looked at it carefully. Then he asked, "Where did you get this coin from?" "It looks like it's part of an old treasure." The man hesitated and stammered, "I inherited it from my grandfather, but it's no use to me now." Khalid, being very smart, realized the coin was fake. So he decided to delay the man and see what his real plan was. Then came the third thief, who used a very different trick. He waited until evening, then approached Khalid's shop dressed as a respected judge. He knocked on the door and said in a serious voice, "I'm the new judge in town. I've received a report that there are stolen goods in your store." Khalid was surprised and asked, "Who sent this report? Why wasn't I officially informed?" The fake judge replied, "The report is secret. I came myself to investigate. You must let me search the store right now." Khalid knew something was wrong, but he pretended to believe the judge and said, "Of course, come in. I'll show you everything." As Khalid dealt with each thief separately, he noticed something odd. All of them were watching his every move very closely. That made him more suspicious. So Khalid came up with a smart plan to bring them all together and discover the truth. Now the first thief was locked up in the special room. Khalid went back to his shop, where the second thief, the one pretending to be a poor man, was still waiting with the fake golden coin. Khalid decided to use the man's greed to catch him. He said, This coin might be valuable, but I need to get it checked by an expert first. I'll send it to a friend of mine who works with gold, and we'll see how much it's worth." Suddenly, the man looked scared and said quickly, No need for that. You can just buy it from me for a small price." Khalid knew then that the man was hiding something, so he made the situation even trickier. "Well," Khalid said, "since you're in such desperate need of money, I'll give you half the payment now and then send the coin for testing. If it turns out to be real, I'll give you the rest." The man agreed, but with hesitation. Khalid then told him, "Please wait in this room while I go get the money." Once the man stepped inside, Khalid locked the door tightly behind him. Now it was time to deal with the third thief, the one pretending to be a judge. Khalid wanted to trap this man using an even smarter trick. He politely asked the judge to wait in the store while he brought the records and the supposed stolen goods. While the fake judge waited, Khalid called one of his real friends who worked in law to come and check the man's identity. When the friend arrived, he began asking the fake judge detailed questions about legal rules and court procedures. The fake judge became nervous. He couldn't answer properly. Khalid was now sure this man was not a real judge. So Khalid kept asking more and more difficult questions, slowly pushing the man into a corner. Then, Khalid pretended to have a big legal problem and said, "Dear Judge, I really need your help. Can you please write a full report for me?" As the fake judge sat down to write this fake report, Khalid quietly walked out and locked the door behind him, leaving the thief trapped inside. Now that Khalid had successfully caught all three thieves, he gathered them in one locked room in his shop. But he didn't tell them that he knew the truth. Instead, Khalid planned to play a psychological game with them. He wanted to make them confess their crimes by themselves, without even realizing they were being tricked. So, Khalid walked into the room calmly, wearing a soft smile. He said, "I know you're not who you say you are. One of you tried to rob me, another tried to trick me, and the third tried to fool me with the law. But I still don't know who's the most dangerous among you, so I have a plan." The thieves looked at each other nervously. Each one tried to look innocent. Khalid continued, "I'll ask you each a question. Whoever proves they're innocent, I'll set them free right away." He began with the first thief, the one pretending to be rich. "You say you're a wealthy man, right? Then why didn't you send one of your servants to buy the goods instead of coming yourself?" The man stuttered and said, I wanted to check the quality of the goods myself." Khalid smiled and said, "How strange. If you were a real rich man, you wouldn't worry so much about quality. You seem more nervous than necessary." The man tried to explain, but Khalid interrupted. "No problem. I won't accuse you yet. Let's move on." Khalid then turned to the second thief, the one pretending to be poor. "You have a golden coin that you claim is an inheritance. Why didn't you take it to a professional goldsmith instead of coming to me?" The man replied, "Life has been hard. I didn't have time." Khalid chuckled softly and said, "That's not a very good excuse. If times are tough, then of course you'd want to get the highest price for it. It seems like you're hiding something." The man started sweating and had no answer. Khalid turned to the third thief, the fake judge, and asked, "You're a judge, aren't you? Then why didn't you bring an official search warrant? Isn't that the usual legal procedure?" The man smiled confidently and replied, "The report was urgent and there was no time to bring a warrant." Khalid laughed again and said, "So, you broke the very law that you claim to represent? That's interesting." After these questions, the three thieves started looking at each other with suspicion and fear. Suddenly, Khalid said, "I have a special offer for you. Whoever confesses first will avoid punishment, but the other two will face the consequences." The thieves panicked. Each one tried to prove his innocence without revealing too much. But the poor man thief couldn't hold it in anymore and shouted, "I didn't do anything except try to sell a fake coin. Yes, it's fake, But I didn't steal from you. Khalid smiled and said, "Thank you for your honesty. Now let's hear from the others." The rich man thief got scared. He didn't want to take all the blame. "Yes, I planned to look at your storeroom to find where the expensive items were," he said. "But I didn't actually steal anything yet," Khalid replied. "So you were planning to steal. That's very interesting." The fake judge stayed silent, but Khalid increased the pressure and said, "Your friends already confessed. If you don't speak up, you'll be seen as the leader behind this whole plan." The man got nervous and finally shouted, "Fine, I'm not a real judge. I just wanted to scare you, to steal some items." Now that all three had confessed, Khalid said, "Thank you. Now I know exactly what each of you was planning." But then he added, "There's one thing I haven't told you yet." The thieves looked at him in fear, waiting for what he would say next. But Khalid didn't speak. Instead, he said calmly, "I'll leave you here for a while, to think about what you've done. When I return, I'll decide what to do with you." But what the thieves didn't know was that a police officer, whom Khalid had called earlier, was hiding right behind the door. He had heard every word of their confessions. Khalid had planned everything carefully. He wanted the thieves to reveal the truth by themselves. As soon as the last confession ended, the police officer opened the door and stepped in, wearing his official uniform. The thieves were shocked. They tried to take back their words, but the officer said firmly, "I heard everything with my own ears. There's no way you can deny it now." Khalid smiled gently and said, "I trusted you, officer, and I knew justice would be served." The officer replied, "You were very smart, Khalid. You gave us strong evidence without using force. That proves you're a wise and clever man." The three thieves were handcuffed and taken to the police station. As they were being led away, one of them cried, "Please forgive us, Khalid. We were wrong." But Khalid answered firmly, "Intelligence is a gift, but using it for evil always leads to downfall. You could have chosen to be honest people, but you chose the wrong path." Later, the court judged the thieves based on their own recorded confessions. Each one received a fair punishment. Khalid's story spread across the city as a perfect example of wisdom and smart thinking in the face of danger. And that's how the story ends, with Khalid's cleverness winning and the values of truth and justice standing tall. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss a new story.
If you like this video, so don't hesitate to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.